guys, we got this great clip from one of our long content videos. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Enjoy. If you're buying houses, let's say we're going to buy houses for rent. There's going to be one way to renovate that house versus if you're going to buy houses for sale, for resale, there's going to be another way to renovate that house. And then we'll give you a third one, which will be if you want to renovate this house for Airbnb. And then we'll get into if you're going to buy a building that's maybe a value add building, what that could look like and what those renovations look like. And last, we'll talk about hospitality, because hospitality is something that's near and dear to our heart, as we've started to invest heavily in the hospitality field once we came to the island of Puerto Rico. So let's get into it. You buy a single family house and you're trying to figure out what to do with the house, how to renovate it, and what it should cost you. And when you are looking at the house, you're going to probably be able to quickly see if it's a light rehab, a moderate rehab, or a big rehab. So when you're just first starting out, you guys probably, doing your first couple, you want to stick to the moderate and light rehabs. Why? Because they're going to be significantly easier. There's going to be less room for your contractor to take advantage of you. So if you can find something that's a good enough deal that you can buy that doesn't need a whole lot of work, that's what you want to go for when you're first starting out. Now, are there bigger profits in the stuff that have the bigger rehabs? Absolutely. I wholeheartedly believe that the more work something needs, that's generally speaking going to mean that you get to make more profit. So when I'm looking at houses and I'm going to buy a house that has a light rehab, I can pay a higher price for that house because I know I don't have to put as much money in the rehab, and I'll still be able to make my money on the top. So let's give you life examples of that. So let's say the house is worth $300,000 and it needs a light rehab. Now I might be able to pay 75% of the $300,000 for this house because I know that I only have to put a light rehab, maybe $10,000 or $15,000 more into that. So when you're buying that house that needs a light rehab and it's a $300,000 after repaired value, you might be able to pay all the way up to 65% of the after repaired value, which would be $195,000, and still put $10,000 to $15,000 worth of repairs in it. So you're all in for $210,000 and you sell it for $300,000. There's $90,000 in spread there. That doesn't mean you're going to make $90,000 because you're going to have some costs, but there's other videos about that. But that does mean that you're going to be able to make a profit. You're going to be able to make a nice return on your investment. So that would be one way that you would look at properties. Let's say it's a moderate property, and now instead of needing $10,000 to $15,000, it needs $15,000 to $30,000. And you're going to want to not pay 65% for it anymore. You take the same house, and if it needs, let's say it needs that moderate rehab, so that's going to be 15, or on the high end 30, something between $15,000 and $30,000 for your moderate rehab. You're going to probably only be able to pay 55 or 60% of the after repaired value. So if you go to the full highest that you could go, maybe 60% plus then a $30,000 rehab, you're again in at that $210,000 range. So you just have to lower what you're going to pay for it depending on what the renovation is. Hopefully this is making sense to you guys, because this is going to be key for you to be able to make a profit. You're going to make the same profit on that moderate renovation. So if I'm doing the bigger renovation, I might try to buy it a little less, but probably if I could be all in on this house, this fictional house, for $210,000 and sell it for $300,000, I would do the deal whether it was a light or a moderate rehab. Now, if it was a heavy rehab, I'm going to drastically reduce. So a heavy rehab is going to be that $30,000 and up, or $35,000 and higher, and let's go like $35,000 to $70,000. That's a pretty heavy rehab on a $300,000 house. And so I won't just like drop it down another 5%. I might need to buy that house at 50% of its after repair value. So 150 grand plus 70. That puts me in at 220, so I might even have to go down to 45%. But you get the picture, because your heavy rehab could be between 35 and 70 or 35 and 100. So if you're doing the math, you just subtract off your renovation costs and buy it for a deeper discount. I hope this is making sense. It's going to be key to you making money in this real estate investment game. So you should make more money as you do more work. So when you're negotiating these sales, if it's a light rehab, you can pay a little bit more. Moderate, you pay a little bit less. And then if it's a big rehab, you want to get a pretty steep discount, because there's nobody really out there that's buying those really big rehabs. At least there's not nearly as many people. And if you're just starting out, again, stay to the moderate, stay to the light rehabs when you're just learning this stuff, until you have a really good relationship with your contractor and you really understand what it means. Because a heavy rehab can easily go from you're thinking it's $40,000, $45,000, $50,000 and it turns into $100,000, $110,000, $120,000 because you haven't ever done it before and you don't know what you're doing. So just be really careful of that. Hey guys, thanks for watching that. Subscribe to our channel, watch this next, and then also check out the pinned content for more great content, guys. God bless.